Hello, I'm Emilie Zoey Baker, Creative Director of OutLoud. This is the first time we've ever had a digital slam and we're very, very excited. We acknowledge that our event takes place in Melbourne, or Naarm, on the lands of the Boonwurrung and Woiwurrung peoples of the Kulin Nation. We acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded, no treaty was signed, and it always was and always will be Aboriginal land. We also acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders, past and present. I'm so pleased to welcome you all to the digital edition of OutLoud 2020. We're gathered tonight to celebrate Australia's young, upcoming, fresh-voiced poets. Schools from around Australia submitted video poems for the first time ever, and they were amazing. I'm still blown away by the quality. I really wasn't expecting that. I'd like to thank our Heat judges, Express Media's Jessie Oliver and Kim Coleman from the Royal Botanic Gardens of Victoria, who did an amazing job. Choosing our finalists was hard, and they did an amazing job providing excellent, in-depth feedback for our young poets. It was a tough job, and I'm glad it wasn't me. I'd also really like to thank our head judge, Alicia, sometimes for the very difficult task of choosing our winners. There will be a winner in each category announced tonight, years 7 to 8, year 9, and years 10 to 12, as well as an overall OutLoud 2020 champion.
I'm Noah.
I'm Keon.
I'm Alex.
I'm Lucy, and this is Disney Movies.
We grew up watching Disney movies about falling in love, dreaming big, and overcoming the challenges of life. So why didn't they tell us about fake friends, or stress, or heartbreak, or peer pressure, or addiction, or self-hate, or a global pandemic? We live in a world where nothing is a Disney movie. We don't get to write our lives out like scripts. We have let life take its course, let life tear us down and rain on us until we learn to pick ourselves up again.
We have been waking up our whole lives longing for something more, something to fulfill us, a purpose. Unfortunately, it doesn't come as easy to us. We're not living the Disney life. Instead, we wake up and go to school. We look at our teachers through a screen all day. We watch YouTube, have dinner, play games, and go to sleep. Whether we've been working hard all day or being lazy, by the end of the day, when half of us lie there 2 a.m. thinking about who we want to be, we're tired.
5 months. 5 months in and out of lockdown. 5 months of us feeling lonely or sad or happy or isolated. 5 months of us trying to figure out why someone hasn't texted us or who our real friends are. And for some, 5 months of realizing what you want to be when you're older, who you want to be. Maybe you use these 5 months to get into shape or to take a break. Isolation, the process or fact of isolating or being isolated. That definition unfortunately sums up the last 5 months of our lives.
Some of us liked the space for everyone, whilst others hated being alone. Unfortunately, throughout this whole pandemic, we've all been stuck at home. Hotel quarantine security with just one simple task results in complete disaster because they couldn't wear a mask. A 48-hour warning to get into our homes. Now our only human interaction is through the screens on our phones. Fast forward a few months later, stage 4 lockdown's here, positive cases rising, parents losing their careers. Grandpa's in a nursing home, waiting there in fear. Someone has the virus, his future seems unclear. This year has been like a download buffering, connection really slow. I can't wait for the vaccination to be here and for 2020 to go.
They can be so young, an aspiration to change society, to rule the world with a bouquet of flowers. A pure belief that hate slows down progress in all its forms. a wish to start to end what the end had started, to end the start of peace, an ambition to liberate every single person of their struggles because they don't deserve it, and that they try, as if there was no other purpose to be on this earth, but they cannot remember masses of people without forgetting one. So they forget themselves.
These selfless heroes can't stand the negativity that everyone has on themselves and others. They take all that hate and store it far from the eyes of those they love. But their goblet of hate is leaking, and it is filling faster and faster without them noticing. And the goblet cries unto the one they forget to account for.
So they forget themselves. The ones who are cured often cannot cure others, and the tides of kindness stray away whilst the land behind it begins to erode. Naive and unjustified attacks on them start tearing at their insides.
Gold that had been falling from the sky ever since they remember starts to hit them on the head. The devil is shining its ugly smile at those who stand, and desperate attempts to recount themselves have but a temporary effect.
So they forget themselves. A world built on the aspiration to love started to slowly destroy itself with hate. Their roots were all tearing out. Their seas were all evaporating. All of nature had burnt down to a crisp, and disasters are occurring more and more frequently. And it reveals what's left of this once prosperous world. Their true selves. The kindness used to create masses of worlds has all been extracted from one. So they've forgotten themselves.
They came to school the next day completely invisible and silent, like a haunting aura of guilt. Their words of kindness that used to be spoken turned into bitter, heartless words of struggle. They realized that no one loves them, so why love themselves? Their temporary solution to others' lives became a permanent problem for them.
So don't forget yourselves.
Gradually, as the clock weeps and the days roll by like a calendar down a slope, time runs thin and everyone has lost hope.
The only emotion able to be felt is helplessness. Everyone continues to take more and more, so they only see one option: selflessness.
For but a second, they're able to recall a time when they had known themselves. But then that too is gone, only to be found in bookshelves.
Because once you forget yourself, you can never remember. So remember yourselves. Mental health is not just priority, it's the essence of well-being.
What's outrageous is its negative presence in communities to this day.
Do you want to live a full life, free of hate?
Once you love yourself, it's harder to hate others.
Remember who you are and what you're here for. Because those who can remember themselves are truly their own.
Ever since the beginning of creation, racism has pushed apart every nation. Race is a case that we chase my both faces, it is because of my birthplace. Racism is an issue that constantly dies and resurrects like the sun. But I'll not drop my briefcase, nor will I embrace this disgrace. Displacements of law encamped the residents, the blacks and the whites, dropped heads, averted gazes. But I'll not drop my briefcase, nor will I embrace this disgrace. Before there was me, there was slavery, not to mention the bravery. Not all races could go into a bakery. Rise up and tighten up your seatbelts, because this journey is meant to frighten. Racism
is much. Abhorrent.
Indoctrinated. I seal my mouth, I cover my disgrace, all my resentment hidden by the smile on my face.
Ever since the beginning of creation, sexism has pushed apart every nation. I'm either
too tall,
too small,
too fat,
too thin.
You don't care about what's within.
Too much makeup, not enough makeup.
Wish someone would have given me a heads up before I was born into a world full of norms and inequality, where a woman is treated more like an object than a person, a slave to man, because he thinks he deserves it. Man. You know why he doesn't care about women? Because he wrote the rights to only benefit him. To him I must be white-faced, tight-waist, blonde hair, and be obedient to fit in.
Be a housewife. Never say no.
The man's always right.
I want to be a businesswoman.
Go ahead and see how that goes.
Okay, society, in my job I'll have to work 3 times as hard as my co-worker to get by because you'll make it as hard as you can for me to survive. And I'll try to scream out, but society will always just reply.
Our hands are tied.
Woman, giver of life but ridiculed by man to be the emotional type, but emotions lead to passion, and passion leads to action. And every time a boy treats a girl like a toy, a Barbie tells her they can tell what to wear, how to do their hair, thinking we don't care.
And every time a man mistreats us,
Uses us.
Abuses us.
A spark of anger grows, and sparks start fires, and our fire will burn until finally men and women are friends, equals. And yet I go by every day, I seal my mouth, I cover my disgrace, all my feelings hidden by the smile on my face.
Ever since the beginning of creation, disability and equality has pushed apart every nation. The backs are turned. Silent whispers I'm not meant to hear. My wheels feel rough under my hands. Why don't they see I'm human like them? Teased, tantalized and taunted, over and over, again and again. Faces of sympathy and forced kind words, they all surround me.
Left.
right.
And center.
With these come the hateful strikes. They say humans have evolved for the greater good, but why are the disabled still being singled out, like in the story of the ugly duckling?
I may be blind, but I can hear you.
I may be deaf, but I can see you.
I may be disabled, but I'm human too.
As humans, we should gather and work as one. Fight battles hand in hand. Earth is no place for discrimination, but rather, we must unite as humans, in a wheelchair or standing on 2 legs. I seal my mouth, I cover my disgrace, all my resentment hidden by the smile on my face.
Ever since the beginning of creation, stereotypes have pushed apart every nation. We're separated by walls that we've built in our minds. When we label others, we render ourselves blind. Does your gender really determine whether or not you'll win, or your success rate's changed by the colour of your skin?
Just use makeup to be pretty. I'm sure you'll fit in.
Ew, where'd you get that outfit? A trash bin?
You're as fat as an elephant. You need to be thin.
We've taken our hearts and we've shoved them in drawers. Stereotypes are pressing down on us all from every side. We need to speak up instead of trying to hide. I won't just give in, play along, abide to every unwritten rule society enforces. We're responsible for only our own actions, so why let others take our own blame? Our looks are different, but our blood is the same. We all have thoughts and feelings and words that we need to speak, that need to be heard. And yet I go by every day. I seal my mouth, I cover my disgrace, all my feelings hidden by the smile on my face.
But no longer will I.
Cover my mouth,
Or cover my disgrace. No longer are my feelings
hidden by the smile on my face.
It's all in your head. My positivity is replaced by overactivity, and mental productivity hindered by mental disability. I'm a liability. A cyclone of emotional unpredictability, the eye of the storm, full of instability, the so-called place of quiet, my social ability on the edge of a mental riot. You're lying. I'm trying to achieve things that I aspire to. I'm an empath, not a doormat that you can wipe your shoe on. I used to love being around people, but my fear of being tormented for being me is making it hard to see.
I want to branch out.
But the roots of the tree hold me, a struggle to break free from a burning wildfire of emotions inside of me. It's melting the thin ice on which I used to skate, turning it into a swirling pool of hate where people can throw harsh comments my way and just forget about what they say. Each comment opens up gashes to the heart I wear on my sleeve. My throat's blocking up.
You just have to breathe.
Oh my gosh, it's just a joke.
Treat people the way you want to be treated. At least treat me as a person. Breathe in, breathe out. But it's hard when your self-worth is in doubt.
It's all in your head. I dive in, the cool rush of the chlorinated water brushing against my face as I stride into the deep embrace of my element. And yet the water still seems to trick me, like those unwanted memories. No one understands.
You don't understand.
Because my body is a vessel that's trying to contain the pain inside of me, struggling to get out there and go wild and free. And when I reach the surface and gasp out to breathe, I think to myself, is this the best I could ever be? Expectations.
So many expectations.
If I don't fulfill your needs, it always ends in
accusations, allegations.
Well, I'm here worrying over your creations, but not even a glance is given to my aspirations. Why? Rise up, they tell you to, but what do you achieve when you yourself are the reason you don't want to breathe? Even then I fight with my own fears with devotion, but my tears are more than enough to fill up an entire ocean. If I say that I carry you, it'll cause a commotion. In the end, is this what I get for having emotions? Breathe in, breathe out. But it's hard when your whole life is in doubt.
Stop. It's all in your head. Do you know what it feels like when one moment you feel like you're on top of the world, and in the next, everyone you've loved turn their backs on you?
Loser.
Last place.
Lame.
I used to be the reigning champion of my state, but I guess that was before I started putting on weight.
Inhale, but don't exhale. That way you'll look skinnier.
I thought humans had to breathe to stay alive.
Yeah, but you look so bloated in that picture. Keep up.
I'm really trying my hardest to stay in time and look like the others who are perfectly perfect definitions of perfection. But I guess abnormality is a crime, like the beats when I grow out of time.
You're always late. Come on, it's showtime.
It's a struggle against my own will to fit into the mold that you define as pretty. I'm just a little insect who's trapped in the cobweb of thoughts and emotions, the demotion washing over me the ocean. The more I struggle, the deeper I fall into the canyon of isolation, desolation, and abnegation. And when the final note plays, I'm already too late.
I thought I've made myself clear.
Keep up with the others,
or you'll get cut.
Don't worry, I'll do it myself. Breathe in, breathe out. But it's hard when even your own body is in doubt.
Stop. It's all in your head. My thoughts are beginning to choke me, the dark spiral engulfing me. In the abyss of my twisted mind, past these thoughts I can't see. I can't breathe. I'm sitting in the examination room trying to finish this test, holding back a wave of thoughts, just trying to do my best.
But what if you fail?
No. I won't.
the others will laugh.
I'll never get a job.
My life will be ruined.
I haven't written a single thing when the bell begins to ring. I try to hide faces interfering, but the tsunami has already begun tipping.
Goodness, here she goes again.
She's overreacting.
There was once a point in time when I believed that I would fly up away from the misery that I couldn't keep inside. So hard I tried to bend my wings, soar for a place where I could thrive without the overthinking about who or when or why. But my wings weren't strong enough. The pain had trapped my mind, and all I could do was roam in circles. My true self had to hide. And because of the state you left me in, I only have one proposition to bring. Breathe in, breathe out. But it's hard when your own sanity is at doubt.
Stop. It's all in your head.
Is it really?
I wonder what you thought you knew when you decided to spew all that hatred and brutality just to eradicate an abnormality in the system, leaving people who need you out in the cold because their soul to the public is depressed.
Oversensitive.
Either too thin or too fat.
A pathetic little scaredy cat?
Our inability to provide you with emotional stability, our fragility and futility has broken the normative tranquility. The corruptibility of our society has made us see that we are seen the way you want us to be.
Because that's not us. That's who you're told to see. You're being blinded by the unrealistic, idealistic, and imperialistic standards.
I am who I am, and I won't change myself for your expectations. Justification, we are stuck in the shells that we live in, plastered with the labels which we apparently fit in. We are tired of being shoved aside. So enough is enough. We are not going to hide.
Society.
Is
it really all in our
heads?
Black Lives Matter. Martin Luther King had a dream, a hope that the future would see black people living in glee, roaming around carefree. A hope that after all his sacrifice, and the sacrifices made by millions, his people would walk free, ending white supremacy. He hoped that it was not the color of a person that future generations would see, and that the melanin in our skin would not dictate all we could be. He hoped that someone like me would not be identified by my race nor my family, but would be identified by me. He was guaranteed to a certain degree freedom for all 12.3 million of his enslaved people. Since then it's been half a century, but still to this day there are conflicts and censored scenes. We can all agree, coerced into secrecy, we're being shielded from the truth and the trauma faced by countless families. Shielded it seems. Privilege this means, entangled in memes and spreading our dreams, we're not hearing these people scream. Country versus country, I don't know what they mean when they kill the unseen. Aren't we all on the same team? 400 years of slavery. Discriminated because they were black. Treated like crap. Attacked if they fought back. Now hold on. This was way back. Back to when our ancestors tracked. I'm sorry to say, but not much has changed. Let me tell you a story. A story that had me enraged. I want to ascertain this arcane knowledge. This is my complaint, the clear disdain. I see it again and again. After all these campaigns, there remains a stain in the system. He was detained against his name, tied in chains on the side of the lane, word pressed against his brain. This is inhumane. His eyes full of pain. I can't breathe, he claims. Are they insane? He's going to die. Don't let them die in vain. George Floyd, Elijah McClain, say their names. We're all beings, alone on this earth. Since the day we were birthed, we spread and claimed our worth, gave each place a name like Paris, Washington, and Perth, ripping apart our neighbors, causing endless hurt. What are we doing? What are we trying to achieve? Worrying about economic growth and GDPs, don't you understand? We're all one family. We live on the same planet. We're on the same team. Team Earth. Let's unite. Come together, you all, not forgetting our differences, but celebrating them more. Crawled in the halls of global appall, I'll be accepting you all. We'll break down the walls and the lines that separate us. The oceans that intervene, let's clean the scene, forget about our genes and share our cuisines. I don't know about you, but that's the future for which I'm keen. Thank you for listening.
Close your eyes. Think back to another time. This virus has spread embers of devastation. We thought we'd get by, but it's proven to be insatiable. More so, inescapable. Close your eyes and think back to men decked in suits of blue hues, topped with a hat that had astounding impact. To women dressed in breezy trousers and floral blouses, and young men in blazers and ties who were chuffed to comply to the tough price of a slice of our famous lemon pie that was sure to defy but also gratify. The streets now lay bare. We used to be open every day, never sending one astray, but now I feel this decay ravaging away at the bones of my cafe. I always liked how our cafe huddled despondent against the fondant of city skyscrapers. Unlike the unassuming exterior, the interior was rustic and inviting with eclectic styling. On winter mornings, we'd pull up the rolled-up awnings, looking out to a city breathing and teeming with life. Life who'd scamper into a cafe, consumed by the waft of coffee grinds and lemon pies. Uncle Joe was a regular. We knew his stories muddled the line between actuality and reality, but we still listened intently. Sally worked at the local Salvos. She's been coming non-stop since the day we opened up shop. At our little place, good coffee and food were always the mood, and smiles were never skewed. Open your eyes. Look around to empty seats and untasted sweets. How can we not concede defeat as this monster claws away at society, as it threatens my propriety? Because I feel sensational loss and excruciating suffocation, chest compressing with each breath. Can you not hear me scream, my throat fleshy pink? I'm drowning. Of course, there's that government assistance, but my business and its existence will be reliant on more than a mere pittance. So as I sit amidst an empty cafe, I pull up the rolled up awnings, and for the first time in 23 years, the sky has never looked so awry. An abyss of unknown, truth be told, I don't see a way out. Stumbling in the dark, I'm crashing and bashing into walls that feel like they're encroaching upon me. Sifting through the bills, I see the familiar logo of the bank. Sharks, circling, they smell blood. Vulnerability. Their overdressed words claim to assess, but really repossess my business, my sole income, my success. But I can't let that happen. I have to find the strength, no matter how hard that will be. The familiar scent of coffee grinds and lemon pies flood back, and I keep my head aback, because now is grim and dim, and these days are dreary and bleary and so very, very scary, but this is temporary. Keep your eyes open.
Cook, clean, kids, homework. Weak, emotional, accommodating, dependent, unstable, fragile, naive, soft, burdened.
Women, don't sit like that, sit like this. You're growing up, you have to start acting like a lady.
Don't eat that, don't eat this. You're gonna get fat. Men don't like that.
Enough with the shorts, enough with the pants. Start wearing dresses and skirts.
Here, put some makeup on, throw on some heels.
Mom, they hurt. This is not me. Beauty is pain, even if it involves change.
So don't complain. Skinny waist, slim thighs, hourglass figure.
Time is sticky.
Times are changing.
Revolution.
Raise our voice.
And make a choice.
And don't let the men dictate our voice. Let us rejoice.
New opportunities waiting to be taken.
All powered by new beginning. Women empowerment.
Enough is enough.
It's time to amplify the voices that have been muffled for too long.
Until we are all seen as
equal in the eyes of society.
We must understand that one's gender doesn't make them any less human.
We are not asking to perform a miracle.
We are not asking for superiority.
All we are asking for is equality,
justice, fairness,
humanity.
A chance at change.
One where we all contribute to our future.
The future that's in our very own hands.
Waiting for us
to shape it, to mold it, to make the very best of it.
Independent,
accepted,
strong,
powerful, inspiring,
honorable,
influential,
intuitive, puissant,
optimistic,
fortunate. These are the words that should be used to describe women, not the degrading words that are wrongfully labeled by society. Let's make this a world where teachers will ask,
could I please have 2 strong students?
Not
2 strong boys
to help lift this table. Women empowerment.
2,500 calories a day. Did it scare you when we stopped smearing our faces with ice cream to counting every calorie of dust we consume? When did we stop stuffing our faces with french fries to feeling sick from a small bite? When did we give up everything to fit into the smallest size? When did our self-worth become a number on a scale? 2,000 calories a day. It's a prize you get every time somebody congratulates you. It's a gift you get every time you fit into a smaller size. Everyone keeps telling you, you look great, but you can't see it. The emotions take control of your eyes, and every sense you have, they have deemed you unlovable and worthless. It's a disease manifested in your mind, and it makes it glamorous. 1,500 calories a day. You keep losing weight, but the hate never stops. People say beauty is pain, yet all you're feeling is just the pain. I only feel pretty when my stomach is empty. Please lower your beauty standards. Change it. I want to feel okay. I want to be okay. 1,000 calories a day. Am I being too dramatic? Whenever you tell me I'm pretty, I can feel the hunger really hit me. It's like a new high and an old euphoria. You won't be happy until you look a certain way. Pinch your skin. Look at your thighs. I already ate. I'm just not hungry. I'll eat later. Come on, tell them that. They won't know. 500 calories a day. Hide it, hide it, hide it. You have to hide it. You can't let anybody know. They'll lie to you, tell you that you're good enough. They're always wrong. They don't have your body. They don't understand. They'll just call you a pig afterwards. 0 calories a day. Don't let the tears blur your vision of beauty. Beauty is not defined as a tiny waist, a pimpless face, and your number on a scale. Hold on. It's who you are inside, who feels love and empathy for others. It's the first breath you take after you've been drowning for what feels like forever. It's the discovery of yourself. You. You are beautiful. You are beautiful. You are beautiful.
Mom, can I go out and eat some food with my friends? And the reply is, okay son, but. Take your hood off your head, take your hands out of your pockets, look down whilst you walk, read a book to dim the attention. If someone is walking your way, make sure you cross the road onto the other footpath. And are you going with your white friends? I ask myself, why is this the case? Why are these 5 phrases constantly repeated to me? And will this always be the case? When will it stop? The institutionalized paternalism used by the southern whites in the antebellum period was to justify the existence of slavery and the superiority of them. Skip forth to 2020, the same issues with paternalism still stand as a means of showing their dominance and showing that we are down here and they are up here and we will never get to their level. However, we must use paternalism to our advantage. We must strive. We must build our own communities and values. We must unite. We must be seen up here and not down here. In the face of adversity, we must find a mere streak of light to bring hope. What cannot be done, we must do. What cannot be seen, we must see. I have a dream, we have a dream, we shall all share the same dream. Like Martin Luther King Jr. said in 1963, I want to be equal, I want to have equal rights. I'm sorry, I want to have the same opportunities as you. In unity we shall be, its hope we shall have, in its fear which shall be abolished, its freedom and autonomy we must find. We should not diverge, instead we shall unite. Because if not, nothing will ever change. Mom, I'm home. Reply, okay son, thank God.
I am a sailor, but I cannot find it. I am lost at sea, but luckily for me, the ocean runs wide and calm, and for now I feel its mercy, like a well-fed child. I hope it will let me float here for a while. When I look below, I see fish, ignorant to the great power of the shark, who swallow them whole like pills that are too sharp. I watch with glee as they playfully chase the carp, until they are tired and decide to stop playing with their food. I see a log. I try to ignore it, but my legs are worn sore, and I do swim to that log, telling myself I will just rest there for a while, but such is my trial that before long the sips become gulps, and the gulps become waves that crash and burn and drag me down until all I can do is beg for my breath while the waves get taller and the waves get stronger, and I get wiped further away. Nothing but a speck in the life of the sea. I feel the current breathing as it rises and falls, forming great lungs that blow me out like cigarette smoke. I see it now. The great whale of the sea towering above me as I cower below and beg for it to release me, to bring me to shore. But it is too late, for I chose to sail out that day. and those mighty hands pull me down. Sometimes the waves calm, and I can swim to the surface full of hope once more, hiding until the great whale finds me again and drags me further from the shore, longer this time. The light at the end of the tunnel no longer shines. I am once more waiting for the sea to take me. It has taken before me, and it will take after me. For this is the burden of an addict. But I do not think it will let me back up this time. Please help me. I am afraid. I just want to find my ship.
There is a moment, as tangible as skin. It invades minds every now and again, and shelters, questioning their will to exist. Turning their palms over, they try and scratch their skin off. The mates don't call them by the names, but by what they had for lunch. Don't talk back, don't look, just walk away, or they'll burn you in the flames of their heinous words, the unseen terror of profanity. Every brown kid has that moment.
I saw him walking through the hallway. He was a dirty little runt, with dark brown skin like unwashable dirt. At least that's what my parents told me. And as all good children do, I listened to what my parents said. I shamed this boy every day for being foreign, for being stained, for being poor. And you know, the funny thing was, he never made a sound. He never said I hurt him or turned to tell me to stop. So I tried even harder to make his little heart rot.
Culture. It is the single word that defines the world. It defines the uniqueness of every single race on this very planet. Culture is a part of everything. What we wear, what we eat, how we live. Culture is everywhere. It is in everything we touch, everything we see, everything we smell. Culture is in our senses. Culture makes who we are as a person. Culture makes who we are as people. Culture makes who we are as humans.
No matter how I try, I'm not able to pick up my pen to stop scrolling but finally start writing again. Even though I know I'm falling behind, the motivation to work I can't seem to find.
I can see the hand of the clock moving by and the sun moving further across the sky, but still I sit here glued to my device. Another day, another procrastination sacrifice.
Yet even still, I can't find a sense of urgency, the looming deadlines, an impending emergency. I long for that effort to start my work again, but alas, I'm already on the procrastination train.
All I can find is the energy to check the fridge 3 more times, and I know in the future I'll pay for these crimes.
I had sworn my procrastination would be ancient history.
But the way out still remains a mystery.
Here I am once again asking how'd this become of me?
Do I resign and accept I may never be free?
I'm stuck in a jail of failure and frustration, watching my dreams own cremation.
A cage of self-destruction, denial and delay. I know it's not long before my doomsday.
My own hell of guilt, anxiety and dread. How have I let myself become so misled?
And I remember what I said last time, that things would be different the next deadline, but each time things end the same way, so now I have nothing left to say.
Over
and over
and over
again. Same story plays out. I'll be trapped forever, I have no doubt, repeating the same fatal routine, labelled just another difficult teen.
I'm unable to find a successful cure. How much more must I endure? And I know to you this may sound bizarre. Procrastination is not part of your repertoire.
But unless I make a change real quick,
life will pass me by in a click.
I can't teach myself to stay on task.
Well, do I even dare to ask?
For while you will go and achieve your dreams,
I'll be stuck right here, it seems.
With a severe case of procrastination-itis.
but still continuing to deny this.
If I don't stop now, the consequences will only double. You must understand, I'm heading for trouble.
So please help me to find the nearest exit and say goodbye to procrastination, just like Brexit. Oh, why have I left this until it's almost too late?
Do I succumb to this haphazard fate?
Because I no longer wish to participate.
So show me how to deactivate,
Eradicate,
Evaporate,
disintegrate,
dissipate,
disinflate,
obliterate,
obviate,
and terminate
the thing I hate, my talent to procrastinate.
OutLoud Slam Finals 2020. Oh my, what a beautiful rush of gorgeous poems. It has been a roller coaster of a year, and the poems, of course, reflected that. So many were compelling, burning, intense, reflecting the times that we need social change, justice, caring about our environment, caring about each other, and you also beautifully put this on film. Usually I'm up front seat at these live slams and I can't wait to see what everyone's doing on the stage. But as usual, you all adapted beautifully, creating these gorgeous poems. So I'm so proud of you all. I couldn't imagine a better way to spend my time than looking at these incredible videos. What a beautiful OutLoud 2020 slam vibe you all brought to it, and it's just such an intense thing. Judging like this is always so impossible. I'm always sad when someone misses out just by a whisker. It was so close, so many good pieces. I'm so proud of you, and I applaud you and give you a virtual OutLoud hug. So, the winner of Year 7 and 8 Slam, drum roll, is Eleanor, Frankie, Faith and Imogen from Hailbury. This is a dynamic deep dive into racism, sexism and the slow-moving progress of society. Each fragment of the poem speaks to the passionate plea to change and make sure there is equality. The strength of the poem is both in its musicality and its bold words that the poets use, but also the way that you all broke up the poem into little mini suites of activism. This poem works together as an energetic whole, weaving its way through the important messages. We sense their urgency in their body movement and performance also. This is a wonderful group effort. Congratulations. And the winner of the Year 9 category is Aditya from Melbourne High. This poem on Black Lives Matter uses pace, rhythm and rhyme to convey its core essence. With echoes of rap, this poem is successful in delivering its poetic discourse with originality, sincerity and frenetic speed. The stories in this poem are elevated by the poet's use of the vocal performance, highlighting text on the screen that allows us to follow on easily with the poetic voyage. A strong, confident piece that uses purposeful, political, historical and imaginative notes. This means that we will carry the poem long after we've heard it. Congratulations. The winner of the Year 10 to 12 category is Khalid with the poem Empower from the William Ruthven Secondary College. This poem begins with a seemingly simple question, but it is so layered and complex. Mum, can I go out and eat some food with my friends? This poem is heartbreaking at its core and breathtaking in its delivery. The phrases, the beat, the pauses, the voice, all powerful tools in this poet's array of creativity. In these 2 minutes, we are lost in this narrative that circles back to that first question. This poem's visceral and emotional, and it's a lyrical delight with an essential message. In the words of the poet, in the face of adversity, we must find a mere streak of light to find hope. Congratulations. And the overall winner of OutLoud Poetry Slam 2020 is Khalid Muse with his poem Empower from William Ruthven Secondary College. Couldn't congratulate you enough. Well done. So proud.
This year has certainly shown me the importance of poetry more than any other, as poetry helps connect, share our voices, emotions, passions, anger, joy, and insight. In the words of F. Scott Fitzgerald, that is the beauty of all literature. You discover that your longings are universal longings, that you're not lonely and isolated from anyone, that you belong. Congratulations to all our finalists, all our entrants, and all our winners. Prizes will be coming out to you shortly. I hope next year we get to do this IRL. But for now, thank you so much for participating. See you next time, and good night.
Visit wheelercentre.com for the best in books, writing and ideas from Melbourne, Australia and the world.